Hey there, Internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of Movie Monday. Today I'm going to talk about Lady Bird. And my initial response to Lady Bird was I texted my friend Logan, who, when he was out here a couple weeks ago, I shared with him, we watched Baby Driver. I told him that that had been my favorite movie of 2017. After seeing Lady Bird, my immediate response was to message him and say, hey, if I'd seen Lady Bird, that would have shot up to the top of my list of 2017 movies. But I did not. I saw it this year, so it's, in the running for my favorite movie of this year moving forward. Lady Bird, I don't think, and I've struggled to try and think of a movie in the last week that resonated with me more than Lady Bird did. Lady Bird is very much a story about a Sacramento girl's kind of senior year, and it's not great on story necessarily. It is more a series of like high school moments in the life of this girl, Christine Lady Bird, but it is just so like profoundly universal that you could change a few details and effectively be telling the exact same story of Trevor's senior year in high school. Even going so far as to like the year that she's graduating is 2002, 2003, which is when I was a senior in high school. She's very much kind of fighting against, sometimes overly passive aggressive mother, and kind of a more maybe disconnected father in terms of what she's going after and kind of the forces around her. Very much the same kinds of experiences I had. Even musical cues like Dave Matthews Band's "Crash Into Me" is a recurring kind of musical song and interlude in the film, and I was like, yep, that immediately takes me back to that point in time, that era of my life. And Logan and I had recently been even talking about like, what do you look back and think fondly of like high school or college? Which do you look back and think of? And I kind of told him I've never really been one that lives in the past. I've always kind of been moving from point in my life to point in my life. So high school ended, I went on to college, didn't really, associate with my high school past anymore. College ended, I moved on to doing stuff in the theater community in town. Didn't really look back too much at college anymore. Moved from theater into like the video game stuff. Don't really talk to a lot of my theater friends anymore. But this movie like just pulled me back so viscerally to those high school days and so many of those memories, and seeing this in a almost empty theater on a Tuesday night, it was taking me back 14 years to what it was like back then, 15 years to what it was like my senior year of high school, and the friendships I made, the friendships that came and went even within that senior year. It was just it all, the story that Greta Gerwig has put together and that is so deftly performed by Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf as the mother, and all the other, Tracy Letts as the father, the supporting cast kind of around them and telling that story just rung so innately true to me that I couldn't help but weep and reminisce, and it was nostalgia in the most genuine sense of the word, looking back and kind of a hurt in looking back and remembering those moments, and the joys and heartache that came with them. She gets her first boyfriend, and he ends up being not what she thinks, and then she gets another boyfriend, and same kind of thing happens, and it's just so many things in there just immediately just, yep, I was like, that happened to me, that happened to me, that happened to me. So I applaud them for telling this story that somehow kind of reaches back into that era, and from what I've seen elsewhere on the internet, it's just kind of not even that era specific, just like the general universality of the story that they tell here resonates with so many people, and myself included. I put myself at the forefront, having seen the movie, that I was blown away by how much a movie could speak to me and my what I think is a unique experience, but I realize that, you know, there are touchstones that hit all of us, even if my moment is, you know, slightly different than Lady Bird's moment. We still go through a lot of the same things and the same, you know, feelings and emotions, and they do a great job of really capturing that in this film. So if you are a fan of coming of age kind of movies, especially if you are, you know, of my era, you know, early 30s, that was around the time, you know, like touchstones of 9/11 being kind of the first generation kind of graduating with that in the rearview mirror and stuff. That's, you know, subtly in this film as well. And just, yeah, I couldn't believe how much came flooding back to me as a result of seeing Lady Bird. So if you like that kind of movie, I definitely encourage you to check it out. Great performances, great storytelling here all around. Let me know if you've seen it in the comments below and what you thought about the film. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.